Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. So today's video is about mental health. Today, me, Samaya, is coming to you as a peer who has a mental health diagnosis. I find that this topic is big right now. You see a lot of musicians and artists and stuff like that in all areas are talking about mental health because a lot of us suffer mental health issues, right? What I wanted to talk to you about is is a diagnosis doesn't make you, but it does shape your decisions and the way you live, right? And what does that mean? What am I getting at with this? Well, what I'm getting at with this from my years of being a peer support specialist and the years I've been diagnosed with a mental health disorder, I recognize that we have a way of allowing our diagnosis and labels, determine how the decisions that we make and the choices that we're going to make and how we live. For instance, let's just use my journey. So, I was diagnosed, I think back in, a long time ago. Let me see, 2004, 2003. I was diagnosed back then. So how old was I? I have no idea. I can't remember. I think I was 23 or something like that. I don't know. And I was in my 20s, so. And I was diagnosed with bipolar at that time. So being diagnosed with that, it brought me great ease. I tell you, I had comfort. I was happy. You know why? Because I finally knew what was wrong with me. I knew something was wrong with me. And that's what led me to go to the psychiatrist in the first place, because I was like, something's not right. I need to get checked out, The things that I was doing and stuff like that, it just really wasn't adding up. So when I got my diagnosis, I felt free. I was happy. Yes, I know what it is, but I didn't have support because the people that was around me, it didn't resonate with them well, because it didn't, sit with them well, because they didn't believe me. They thought I was acting, and it wasn't real. It was fake, and I'm like, wow. So I didn't get the support at home that I needed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get the support. I didn't have peers at that time. I didn't have no peers. And I tell you right now, I really see the benefit of peers and peer support, and just being amongst your peers that have experienced the things that you're going through, or might go through, or may have went through, and stuff like that, to be able to share, because it's very, very important. And like I said in other videos, it's so belittled in a way, if again, if you don't have these papers and stuff like that, you shouldn't speak. So it's very important where you get your knowledge from. Here, I'm not sharing knowledge per se. I'm just sharing life experiences, and you can use them or you don't use them. It's your choice, but it's just to relate and share, because sometimes something can just ring, like a light bulb could light up in somebody else's head, and wow, I never tried that before, or just stuff like that. Yeah. So now I see them points, but it was very difficult road. So what happened was, being diagnosed with bipolar, knowing that I had bipolar, I didn't learn about it. I didn't really have good therapists. I didn't know how to advocate for myself. I really didn't care. No, I knew how to advocate for myself. That's a lot. I always knew how to advocate for myself, but I really didn't care. It was just I got this bipolar. I'm just stressed out. I got these up and down moods and stuff like that. So I just popped my pills. Got addicted to the pills and popping the pills and drinking alcohol. I was already an alcoholic even before then, abusing drugs, marijuana. That is, how I lived my life. My diagnosis I just took it and ran with it, and I just became lazy. I just became hopeless. I didn't aspire for anything. I just was living life. I was just enjoying each day as it was going, doing nothing. That's it. That's how I was living my life, and It was rough. I was never happy. I was always sad, depressed, angry. Like I wasn't achieving anything. Like man, it was rough, and I was wasting a lot of my time. But that's what I had to go through at that time. You know what I'm saying? That's the journey that I had to go through so that I can appreciate where where I came from and where I'm going. You know where I'm trying to go. So it was so bad that I wouldn't even count change. Like I used to get change from the store and I'd be like, how much is this? Can you count for me? Or give it to my kids, count this change. Or, one time I told my friend, my friend Keisha back in the day, I was like, can you count that for me? She was like, girl, I ain't counting that. She was like, you know how to count. Stop me, stop being like she knew me, and I'm grateful that she was in my life because I couldn't like get over on her with those kind of things. Like I had to do the work for real, for real. She was not falling for none of that. Like she knew that I was a very intelligent person and stuff like that, and genuinely cared for me. So she like helped push me. So I'm very, very grateful for that relationship. And then I also realized like being around other people with my peers that they would say, "Oh, I can't go to school. Oh, I can't do this because my therapist said this." I have bipolar. I'm a schizophrenic. Stuff like that. I can't do these things, and it's like everything was their diagnosis. Everything about their life was just based around their diagnosis and how people perceive them and stuff like that. So that's so I'm here to say that your diagnosis does not make you who you are. It helps shape you, and it helps with some of the decisions that you make in life and the way that you live. But we can have a positive outlook. Like once we have a positive outlook, things will start looking up. So when it took a long time. It took a long time for me and it took a lot of hardships for me too. I went through some crazy things before I reached the point that I wanted to change my life for real, for real. Like I always wanted to change. I always wanted to stop smoking. I always wanted to stop drinking. And those are not easy tasks at all. Not easy tasks, especially when you're doing it by yourself. And all I had was God, my kids and God. And I leaned more on God's help more than anything. And that's when, things started to look up and started to change for me. It got harder, but it I started getting the help that I received. I had to go through it. And when you embrace your situations, embrace your hardships, embrace the ups and downs and the curveballs that get sent your way, then it's easier to stride and easier to take on life. Take on life with full force and with determination, and aspiration. And that's how my life had changed. And I started utilizing the mental health system in a way that it was going to benefit me, and in a way that I was going to receive the tools that I needed. And first and foremost, it started with me wanting it. And I started really going to the groups and really, taking advantage of learning and the things that and the groups that they had to offer to help better myself, because I wanted to be better for my children. First and foremost, I wanted to be better for my children. I did not want them to live like that. They had a rough childhood. It was not easy. It was not easy to have a mother with a mental health diagnosis and an alcoholic. I can't even, I would never wish that on my kids ever again or anybody, And if I can't take back anything. I can't relive that thing. But I would advise, if you're in that situation, to seek professional help, and don't be scared to get help. Don't be scared to get help. And in your mental health institutions or the places where you can seek professional help, look to see if they can set you up with a peer support group, a peer support specialist in your area and stuff like that, because both of them go hand in hand. It's just easier that way. You understand what I'm saying? They both go hand in hand, right? And none of my experiences, anything that I say on this channel, please again, do not take it as gold. Do not take it as, oh, she did that. That's it. It might not work for you. And not all the things that I did was great. right? And that's what I did at that time, and I know better now. But everybody makes their own decisions and choices, but you still have to, what's that word called? Investigate, research, and know yourself, learn yourself to know what will work for you. And nobody is here to judge you. If you are a type of person that you do live and live and your life circle around having a diagnosis, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where you're at, and that's okay. That's you. Okay, I'm not saying that it's wrong to live that way. I'm just sharing what has encouraged me, and what has motivated me, that when I was living that way for myself, I didn't have aspirations to do anything else. I didn't strive to do anything else, and I feel a lot better, and I am in a whole better space now that I have a different outlook in life and a different way of thinking, and I don't use my diagnosis to hold me back anymore, or use it as a excuse, or use it as a I use it to catapult me to where I need to go. I use the great things about my mental diagnosis. It has very good things. Even though it's crazy, it still has good things that I utilize that helps me reach my goals. I use them in a positive way. So that's all, to each his own. And again, I'm just sharing my experiences. It's neither here or there. It's not for you to take it as bond, or, whatever. You could dislike it, not like it, don't use it, share it to somebody else that it might help them, or whatever. But it's my experience, and you have yours, and it's okay. And the main thing I want us to understand and grow from here is that it's okay to have experiences. It's okay to share your experiences. It's okay to be a peer. It's okay to, express, in a healthy way, the things that you've been through and how you made it out. It's okay. It's okay. And if anything you take from this video is to know that it's okay to have a mental health diagnosis. It's okay to be you. It's okay. And it's okay to, want more in life. It's okay. Okay? Yeah. So, at the end of the day, I made a lot of bad decisions. I made a lot of decisions based on my mental health diagnosis. I made a lot of choices that I wouldn't make now. And I've reached places now that I'm proud of. Some of those places that I was before was very dark, and I'm not proud of them at all. So I like to live, in this space, in the brighter space, in a place where I don't have those things, on my shoulders, and all those baggages. Because when I lived that way, it just contributed to me wanting to drink more, and me wanting to pop pills and just do the things that I was doing, because I was so ashamed, or I had all these baggages on me that I couldn't let go. So I needed to get away, and that was the way for me to get away. But now I'm free. My shoulders, you see that? I can move my shoulders. I ain't got nothing on them. You know what I'm saying? So I can breathe. I'm just more free. So inshallah, if you want to experience that, and I hope that we all can experience that. And if you've experienced or are experienced being in a dark place, a dark space, share it, and try. And a piece of advice that I want to give is try to remember, even in that dark space, that it doesn't last forever, and that we've probably been there a few times before and we made it through, and we seen days that we was light and free, and just try to remember those times. Don't try not to get lost in the depths of darkness, in the depths of, depression or anything like that, because it doesn't last forever. Inshallah, it won't last forever. And just try to hold on to the times you were strong, or we were strong, and we made it through, and share that with somebody else, because that can help somebody else. Okay? Alright, so I hope I did not go off tangent with this video. I will be back, inshallah. We still will continue talking about mental health in our communities and our families, stuff like that. So please, if you're new here, like, subscribe, share, Leave a comment if you're not new here. Any likes, do the same thing. Dislike, it's all good. And I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Have a good day. Assalamu alaikum.